Hello.
Hello, hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, sir? Long time no speaky.
I know. Things are going pretty well.
Let me cut
I
off my halo here. I don't want to outshine you here.
no, things are going pretty well. I have a shaman friend staying with me, so we've been doing lots of stuff and been busy doing sessions and writing articles and stuff like that. I mean, just normal stuff,
Well, that
pretty
sounds
much.
good. That
Yeah.
sounds healthy at least.
Oh yeah. What's not healthy is smoking cigarettes, and
Yeah. Well, what can
I
I say?
tried to stop, but tobacco is a sacred plant. So
That's very true. The shamans adore this plant.
I know. So like when I tried to stop, I was filled with like all this energy, and my voice changed, and it was just weird. It was weird. So so
So,
now I'm back smoking, and it's okay.
can I just get straight to it and just kind of ask, what is your story with all of the Omni Eros is threatening you? I've oh my god, hold on a second.
I can't hear you.
Okay, sorry about that.
No
Yeah,
worries. No
I
worries.
I had a interruption there,
No worries.
but shit, I just unplugged something I think. But yeah, this is a bad start. Hold on a second. But yeah, as I was saying, I just wanted to ask, like, just what is your story? What is your story with Omni Eros and these people threatening you? Because I would really like to know who is doing it.
Well, my take on it is, and this, I mean, many people have emailed me that these people are possessed by lower level astral entities, and uh,
I mean, like, specifically, like, are you getting this through emails? Are you getting
oh,
this through
well,
messages on the
well,
internet, or like, where is it
well,
coming from?
it's coming through emails. It's coming through Facebook messages. A lot of it.
Is there a way that you could even possibly show us some of these? Because
Well,
nobody really is that I know of has anything to do with that. Nobody is commenting anywhere saying Patrick should kill himself. We did a hangout the other day where we emphatically, well, I did at least, and everybody agreed that nobody should be threatening anybody. I don't think you
right,
should die. I don't want harm upon you. I actually
right.
want to see you improve and get better. You can do the shaman thing.
Yeah.
We'll get to that, but you
Um,
see what I'm saying, right?
well, I mean, uh, the thing is that when people become obsessed or overly negative or try to bring somebody down, um, that doesn't last for very long. I mean, that keeping up that level of negativity and hatred is it'll eventually tear out your insides. I mean, it'll eventually consume you. So people who are consumed with hatred and negativity have some serious issues going on, and
Well, I mean, all of this is true. I would agree with you if somebody is doing that. That would be most likely the case. That they're a very dark individual. But what I'm trying to figure out is, oh my God, hold on again. I'm getting called again. What I'm
okay.
trying to figure out is how can we find out who is specifically doing this? Hold on, I'll be right back. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sorry about all that.
Oh, that's all right.
It happens though.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yep, floating on a
Yeah,
cloud, man.
I know.
You know me.
Okay, so what was your last question?
I just wanted to be very specific. Like, who is sending the emails? Like, what's the names of these people even? What?
Uh, well, I I told people to not publicly defend me because um, a few people did, and then they got a shitstorm of negative responses and stuff like that.
No. I'm not talking about defending you. I want to know who exactly is doing this. We need to at least. I mean, between me and you, I want to know who's doing this. Because if they are doing this, I don't want to have shit to do with it. Nobody wants you dead in my camp that I know of.
You mean who's sending me death threats?
Yes, specifically. Who are these people? Oh my fucking god. Okay, that's it. Sorry about that. But that was my question though. Who are these people? Can you even show us a picture of this in a video of yours?
But see, I would rather not dwell on that aspect because if you dwell on that aspect, then you manifest it. So
I mean, the thing is I won't know it's 100% real until I actually know this is going on. And as far as I know, nobody I know of has anything to do with anybody sending you death threats.
Well, the person who broke into my apartment and left a dead animal on the floor.
Now, about that as well, I have questions too, but I'll let you go ahead and finish what you were saying. I want to ask about that as well. I don't...
Well, I mean... ever since I was awakened as a shaman, it's been controversial, and people tend to hate what they don't understand. So, as far as the death threats go, I don't want to. I mean, I want to, making that public. Would be egging them on, because
you've in a sense already claimed that it's happening, and you implicitly implied that it's Omni Eros' doing. Can you explain that, please?
I'd really rather not talk about him because I don't want to give him more attention.
Well, I mean, I just want to understand between me and you how this is even going on. Because you're making these claims and nobody's saying exactly where you're coming from with it. And I mean, you're saying some very serious stuff, and he's saying some serious stuff back. But I mean, there's also this issue of the video about the 14-year-old boy.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the story with that? Would you mind talking about that?
Lots of people call me for advice. Lots of people send me messages for advice.
Was a 14-year-old boy one of them?
Yeah. So, but anybody can choose to follow my advice or ignore it. Everybody's their own person. And, and I wasn't telling him to do that right away. I was talking about when he became grown. Don't be afraid to enjoy your life. Don't be afraid to explore things. Don't be afraid to do things. That's I'm not in control of who calls me and asks me for advice. I don't go out and search for people.
I will say that is true. You cannot control who's going to contact you. You do put your number out there and everything else for ways for people to contact you. But what I'm saying is that you also have a choice to deny services to somebody. And it also sounded like in the video you didn't say anything about when he gets older, all this other stuff. It sounded like you were talking about right now. Just go out, and you also mentioned being his uncle, and just other things. And you didn't. If you did not mean any harm, you definitely did not explain that very clearly. And I think it was horribly misguided to be talking to him in the first place. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, can you accept that? How would you feel about if their parents if they were to be were his parents knowing that he was talking to you even?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, when I was 14, I was doing. I think the thing is that people have latched onto like a few videos that I've made and made mountains out of molehills, and if they want to take the moral high ground, then they should be moral themselves. But the fact, like, consider the source of where those allegations or those things come from.
I mean, to be honest, Patrick, you do have to realize you create this narrative. And I don't know if you've paid attention to anything anybody's really been saying lately, but I mean, I even posted a reply to your gaslighters and negative people video, and I was very, very blunt about how I felt there. And it's like you're not willing to actually listen to people and take them to heart and have an open mind. Yeah, I mean, you talk about people having an open mind, yet you tell people to completely ignore the psychological industry. You tell them to, if people are suicidal, don't ask for help, because then people will try to lock you up and all this other stuff. And do you not see how that could be potentially bad advice?
Well, the mental health industry is corrupt, and
100% corrupt. That's how you feel about it,
right?
They've never helped anybody.
Actually, no, there have been no cures of anything in the mental health industry.
I'm not talking about cures. I'm saying help. Do they help whatsoever? I mean, do you not accept psychological help yourself?
I have a therapist,
right?
To help me deal with my post-traumatic stress disorder. But
you said it was a holistic transpersonal psychologist, right?
Right.
So that's a psychologist. That's part of the industry. Even though it's a nice part that you like, that might be helpful to you. See what I'm saying here? There's parts that you would agree are helpful. And so it is almost bad advice. Well, it's not almost. I would say myself that it is definitely bad advice to be telling people to, if they are suicidal or if they feel like they have a mental illness, to not go and seek help, because they'll just try to lock you up and not help you whatsoever.
That's actually true. There are some statistics where people who go into mental hospitals usually come out worse than when they went in. Mental hospitals don't really help. If you are suicidal and you go into a mental hospital, they treat you like a prisoner. They strip you of your clothes, your belongings, and everything else, and they don't really help the suicidal person at all.
That's if you're suicidal. I know that they will put you in high observation and they will take everything away from you and they will isolate you. But do you not see how that could help though? Like, you're taking away a person can hang themselves with a pair of pants. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a wide spectrum of behavior for people that are suicidal or anything else. If they have any kind of ideation to where they want to harm others or themselves, I mean they can do anything with anything. People are creative and they can kill themselves in a lot of ways, and anybody can snap. That's why it's helpful, is because you're under high observation, to stop you in case you do have a impulse that you're going to regret but you can't come back from, because it's not exactly a reset button.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I'm sorry, I went on a tangent there, but I really want to get across my position so you can understand why people would say the things that they say. Because you would consider me an antagonist. Hopefully you don't consider me a complete enemy, because I don't hate you. I don't wish harm upon you. I actually want to see you, if anything, get better at what you do and not harm people whatsoever. And if anything, I mean, if you could agree with me on some things, could you apologize if you do see anywhere that you went wrong? And if you can point out any major factual flaws in my arguments, I will apologize for them as well. How's that?
Well, I mean, you really have to have a deep understanding of spirituality, spiritualism.
Well, I mean, I'm
God,
not completely ignorant, but I don't claim authority either.
right? Um, but before you incarnate, you decide what you're going to do in this life. You decide what you're going to do, the things you're going to go through, and the relationships you're going to have, and you also decide how you're going to die. You before you were born, you choose the exact moment and how you're going to die. So that's just something that is a given. I've gone to many seminars on. I go to this group here in Chicago called the Chicago International Association for Near-Death Studies, and they have lots of speakers and they have lots of activities, and we all say that pretty much the same thing. And I've had a near-death experience, so to me, death is not so scary. To Abraham Hicks, death is not so scary. If you listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks, she calls it the croaking experience. And if you want to go after Abraham Hicks, then But I think especially in Western society, they place too much emphasis on death, and they think it a negative thing. But people who haven't done their research or experienced the divine tend to have negative connotations towards things of that nature. In other cultures, death is celebrated. In other cultures, it's not such a big deal. But here in America, we're not taught to treat death as everybody's going to die. Everybody's going to die. I mean, that's you're born and you die. And myself, having been to the afterlife, I realized that death is no big deal. So if you think that death is a big deal, then you're coming from a place of fear. You should not be afraid to die. You should not be afraid of anything surrounding death. It's just a natural part of life.
So,
but
can I just interrupt? I just want to just kind of gather a summation here, right?
Right.
Of what you're talking about so far, because you're kind of blowing my mind with all this stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So people have a soul contract. So the way they die, they choose the way they die before they're born. That's your belief, correct? That's your spiritual belief.
No, it's not my belief. It's I don't have any beliefs. That
is what you were trying to say a minute ago, though, right? About the soul contract part. Like, that's what you were trying to impart to me, is that when you die, your soul contract or whatever, you choose how you're going to live, and how you live dictates how you're going to die, et cetera, right?
Right.
So okay, I'm right on that. So,
and this is common knowledge. There's many books on the topic. There's many documentaries on the topic. I mean, this is not something I just came up with.
I'm aware of that, but I just want to continue. Now that I'm establishing that, is a person who's going to just end their life by suicide, are they just stuck in like some kind of continuous spiritual loop? To where they chose this life, they committed suicide, but it's a reset button, see? So they go back and live it again, and reset and live again. Is it like an infinite loop that you're trying to say people kill themselves, end up in? Or, I'm trying to put it all together here.
Okay, so the reset button thing is, it's never a good idea to commit suicide. Never a good idea. Because you just have to go back and do it all over again. And the way this time-space reality works is it's pretty much an illusion. And you create your own reality based on your thoughts, feelings, emotions, and all of that. So humans are more powerful than they know. They're more powerful than they know. So if someone commits suicide, they just have to go back and do it again because they didn't complete their soul contract or their soul mission. So if they do commit suicide, then they have to go back and learn all the lessons again. And
but didn't they choose the life that ended in suicide? And so if they go back and do it again, won't they just suicide again?
no, because when they come back with a new soul contract and they come back with a new purpose. So
Okay.
you know, sometimes people have bitten off more than they can chew before they incarnate. So and the person that commits suicide, they cannot cope with what is happening to them. They cannot cope with their coping skills are less than what is happening to them, and so they want an easy exit. They want out of the pain, whatever pain they're in. They want out of that pain, and so some people choose to commit suicide in order to end that pain. But the best thing to do is to push through that pain because that pain is only temporary. And I've been suicidal before, but I pushed through it. And, especially being abused as a youth by both my parents and the other kids in high school. I mean, that was a very dark time in my life, being abused and harassed and all of that. So, it's.
Can I hate to just kind of bring this up, but what is your translation of this Vitaly is not safe video?
Oh, okay. That was I don't remember making that video, and and other shamans and I have talked about that video, and that was a prediction. That was a prediction, sort of a vision. And since I don't remember making that video, there's something more going on. It was like a prediction. It was like a.
Now I saw a recent video of yours where you say the demon that is possessing he who shall not be named is possessing you in this video, and he made you say some crazy shit in order to make Omni Eros expose himself, right?
That's kind of what we.
He who shall not be named. Sorry.
That's kind of what we think, and I got a message from a shaman who has been following this for quite some time, and it's hard to explain for people who don't understand. Like it's hard to have conversations with people who are not awakened. It's hard to have conversations with people who are spiritually blind. But it was kind of a setup by the spirits to cause something to happen, and we're watching that happen, and we're watching that, and I'm watching it happen, and it's fun, and it's I just.
Do you believe he who shall not be named is basically responsible for all of the negativity like you've been claiming, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I really...
because you're declaring it as though it's true. I just want to know if this is I want to know what you really feel about it, to be honest.
Well, I mean, it's so negative and it's so hateful that I really try not to spend too much time thinking about it or trying to analyze it.
But
because
you talk so much about it. That's why people question it so much, sir.
I would advise people to read books, read The Seed of the Soul, read books on shamanism, read books, educate yourself. Watch a documentary called Psychiatry: The Industry of Death.
I mean, I agree. We should all do that. But if I do all that, I'm not going to still get the answer to that question. I want to know why why you feel like, and let's talk about this vandalism thing. Do you mind if I talk about that a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, now I saw a comment exchange. Well, I saw the video and then I saw the comment exchange. It's the same one that I posted a video reply to of the gaslighters and negative people video, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in this video, that was the first time you mentioned anything about being vandalized. Okay, and just let me finish here. I just want to go through this. In the video, you say that you were vandalized, but nothing was stolen. Now, you could easily say later on you made videos saying that you were robbed as well, but that could be, you found out something was stolen after that video. That's an easy thing.
Yeah, I had some hard drives sitting in my closet, and when I went to look for those hard drives, they weren't there. So
well, I want to further ask. You also mentioned that you came home and you saw this stuff, and there was a dead animal that was there as well, right? That was disemboweled.
Right.
I have comments where you say that this was cleaned up while you were in hospital. So, which is true? Is everything cleaned up, or did you come home and see this stuff?
Wiley took pictures of it.
And I mean, I would like to see that this actually happened. I want to believe that this is true. So, because I mean, there's inconsistencies in that comment thread, and also those comments were deleted. It was between you and 9/11 Tourette's. Those comments were deleted.
Now, see, here's the thing. I don't necessarily delete comments.
So who did?
So, well, it's there's a weird thing going on because for some reason I cannot block certain people from my YouTube channel, and so I go to their YouTube page, and the block button does not come up. So I called YouTube and I asked, why can't I block certain people? And they said, we don't know. So and I'm not in the habit. I mean, I like everybody to have a voice and opinion. So I can't. I don't delete comments, but I do. When I try to block certain people, the block button does not come up.
Well, I mean, what I want to say is, like, I have a screen capture of this where you say this, and then you go to the video, and nothing you said was there. The replies from the person are still there, but what you said that was inconsistent is gone. Do you see where this makes a mystery to people, and why they would want to question that? I mean, there's a lot of little things like that, and also these videos that are, just being deleted off of your channel. We're trying to put two and two together here, and
a private investigator called me and told me to delete certain videos for my own safety.
I'm sorry, my internet's cutting out a little bit.
And so that's why those videos are deleted. Okay, a private investigator called me and said to delete certain videos for my own safety. So that's why those videos were deleted. And I actually have the voicemail from him. But I've been in close contact with the Vancouver Police Department and the medical examiner and also the private investigator that was investigating his disappearance. So,
yeah, can you ever play that from the private investigator, the voicemail that you have?
Well,
I really want to see the concrete evidence here so that we can move on from this, because everybody thinks you're lying. And to be honest, I think you're being pretty dishonest
I think you
too
should
sometimes.
not say that. Everybody does not think I'm lying.
Well, not everybody. I don't speak for everyone. I think you're dishonest as well do a lot of people. You think it's organized, but it's not.
It's actually a handful of people. It's like 12 people. It's not even that many people.
I'm seeing. I know you say that you have shamans that speak to you, and they confirm that what you're doing is good. Okay, I have shamans that are also messaging me after the videos I've made about you, and they're saying also what I'm doing is good. So which shamans are more authentic here? Which I mean, not authentic, but I mean, you see what I mean? That's the same validity I have as you do there with the shaman thing. So I mean, I got people telling me that they're shamans as well, and I speak to them, and they tell me that this isn't good shamanism practice, and I know you have enemies already as a shaman, and we won't go into all that, but I mean, do you see what I mean here?
Oh, I mean, I see what you mean, but I mean, I think it's much ado about nothing. If people want something to be a certain way, they're going to make it a certain way. And, throughout my entire life, I mean, you made that video about me being an actor and entertainer and performance artist and all that, novelist and all of that kind of stuff. I've received hatred and all kinds of stuff just for being me. So this is no big deal.
Well, what I'm saying with that video is that all of it kind of at the time lends to the thought that you are doing this as an act, because a lot of it is very flamboyant. You do a lot of things, and you cannot deny this. No matter how long we talk, you do some things purposefully to get the attention, sometimes negative. You can't deny that.
No, I really don't do things to get attention. If that's your perception, then I'm not an attention-seeking person. I never was.
Well, I mean, what I want to say about that is that you do constantly dwell, especially in the latest videos, constantly on the negative people that are talking to you, the negative people, this and that, and about the negative people that are fucking with you specifically. And I hate to say it, but it does sound very me. And
my channel is called My Shaman Life.
Well, right. Let me finish.
Why would I not talk about myself?
Let me finish though. That's true. But what I'm trying to say though is, you're definitely trying to get attention otherwise you would never talk about these people at all. If you didn't want their attention, you would just completely ignore it, and all of this would have went away a long time ago, really. But I mean, now it's like there's such a big mountain of stuff that's really stacked up against you. That's really
it's actually not that. It's not a mountain of stuff. It's like a bunch of tiny pebbles.
And a bunch of tiny pebbles. If you have millions of these, sorry, but it does make a mountain. I mean, just compress them together. Put some glue in there, you got a mountain. Mm-hmm. Hey, you see what I mean?
I'm actually not concerned about this at all. I mean, I'm not. I mean,
I noticed, but what I'm saying though is you seem to not understand why it's going on. I want to help you understand why you're doing things. If you're trying to do it in a way to where people are not going to say these things about you and assume these things about you regarding you talking to 14-year-old boys and telling them to come over and do this and that. And I've spoken to Patrick Butterfield, and he's told me some things that kind of, a lot of this stuff all does kind of come together and paint a picture about you. We don't paint this narrative that the information that's out there does. And people can't help but assume these things about you when that's all there is to really defined.
Well, if you look,
other than that, it's copy-paste stuff out of Abraham Hicks, like you said, and just other things, and you cobble it together, and you do your shaman thing. And I'm not trying to hurt you by saying this. Mm-hmm. I mean, this isn't about feelings. I'm trying to just be logical here and explain to you what is going on and why people feel the way they do. And there's all this stuff that's out there that all comes together. And there's history here, man. I've spoken to Patrick Butterfield. He told me about how you guys used to fight and all this other stuff. And
Patrick and I never fought. We never fought.
Well, according to him, you guys did. He was even struck by you, and when you guys would get into arguments and everything was said and done, either you were possessed or he was possessed, or some evil spirit was doing this and that, and both of you guys were going through this shaman stuff together, and it was all very new to both of you at the same time. And from everything he says to me, it's like you had him under a spell, and he was just completely sucked in to your orbit, and came out the other side rejected, and well, not rejected, but dejected, and just broken down and confused, and had no idea what you had done to him until after he was able to get some peace of mind away from you.
Oh, no, I mean, the only thing I did to Patrick was love him as much as I could. The real problem with Patrick is his mother, who is...
He said you tried to isolate him away from his family as much as possible as well. And that would make any family members feel concerned.
Oh, I didn't try to isolate him, but his mother was talking crazy shit. I mean, she was talking, she was like, she said that she had a hitman hired to murder me and all that. I never tried to separate him from his family. I never tried to separate that. In fact, when I first met his mother, she said that she was so glad that I was a part of Patrick's life. She just kind of went insane and started making false police reports and harassing me and harassing Patrick. That whole situation.
I've even seen videos where he said as much as well, that he made a lot of videos to his parents. And when I asked him about that stuff, it was almost like he was being goaded into doing these things. And like I said, he said himself that he was not in the right state of mind when he was around you during that whole thing. And that might not necessarily be your fault, but I would also wager that neither were you. Judging from, a lot of the things we've seen, the Starbucks thing, all this other stuff. I mean, and there's a big history there, and you went through some dark stuff, and we all got to see it. Anybody who bothers to actually watch can see it.
Yeah, I mean, being a shaman is a tough job.
Can I actually pause for just a second? I just really, really gotta pee, and I'll only be just a minute, I promise.
Okay.
But, I mean, I'm sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm back.
That's alright.
Nature calls once in a while, what can I say?
I
As
know.
a shaman, we know this. So, quick question, while I'm on the subject, how do you feel about urine therapy?
What, drinking your own piss?
Yeah.
If people are into that, they can do that.
But do you think it would be helpful? It cleanse you, clear you out, drinking some pee?
If you believe that it will help you, then it will help you. So.
That's not true, right?
If you believe it will help you, it will help you.
Do you? Okay. So if you believe drinking bleach will help you, will it help you? You walked into that one, son. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, if you drink bleach, you're gonna die. So I mean, no, it won't help you. But urine is not bleach. So.
Well, no, it's not. Urine is not bleach, and it's gonna make you die. But if you believe it'll help you, it helps you, right?
See, no, don't.
That's
drink
what
bleach.
you just said. I mean, if anything, if that's not what you think, don't say it. You were just saying earlier, everybody doesn't believe. Well, not everybody's gonna live if they drink bleach. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, but urine is different than bleach. But I would not advocate anybody drinking bleach. And if people want to drink urine, all the more power to them.
But drinking urine would not be helpful at all. It's waste. I'm sorry to get into this debate, but
um, there's so much that people don't know about me. There's so much that I don't reveal. And there's so much that I can't share. There's so much that I keep to myself. Now, the videos I make on YouTube are specific things that I'm also working through. Like in talking it out, I'm working through the lessons and the spiritual data and downloads that I get. The spirits pretty much come up with a topic for me to talk about, and then I talk about that topic. And, I'm not necessarily a human being in the traditional sense. So I'm merely a vessel for spirit. And if you can, I'm a dead man walking, pretty much. So, but I receive far more support than I do derision. It's just people tend to focus on the negative aspects of things than they do on the positive aspects of things.
Well, I will say, and I've said this previously about you, that I don't 100% say that all of your advice is bad. I won't say that, because that's not going to be true. Not 100% all of your advice is bad. But there's some key things that are possibly fatalistic, like this. I want you to just calm down before I say this, but
I'm calm.
This Vitali stuff. I mean, do you remember your last conversation with me when we talked about Vitali and Vitali was still there and everything? When we were talking about how you got the black eye, all this other stuff. I mean,
What?
We talked about how you got your black eye and all these other things, and I mean, from what he was saying, there was a part of that audio I can even show you where it sounds like he's talking about you hit him from behind. And you were talking about him possibly being possessed. And do you see why this kind of comes together with the Patrick John Coleman thing a little bit? Because there was an incident where violence occurred. I don't know if you can hear me. It's saying I got internet problems. Can you hear me?
Well, I never hit Vitali.
Okay,
I only loved Vitali. And actually, when he left, I was devastated. I was very devastated when he left. And he lied to me several times while he was here. And
about what?
Oh, just about little small things. Like he would say he would go on a job interview, and then later, I would find out that he never went on that job interview. And then he would call to all my friends trying to find a place to stay.
So it sounded like he wasn't trying to stay there.
Well, he hated Chicago.
Are your other friends in Chicago, or?
Well, I mean, Chicago is it's a tough place to live. And he didn't like Chicago at all. So he and I had made plans to go to Canada, but then, I told him I didn't want to go to Canada. And because I have a pretty sweet gig here.
I think I heard a little bit about that. Like that's like a community or something.
Yeah. So he called. He wanted to leave Chicago, and I didn't want to leave Chicago. So he was calling all my friends behind my back and asking if he could come stay with them. And he was just being very sneaky and disingenuous. And when he finally left, I was like, okay, well, you could have told me this 2 weeks ago that you wanted to leave Chicago, and I would have helped you. You didn't have to go behind my back and lie to me.
Can I just interrupt there? Like, I really do believe that I'm not being told the 100% truth about that incident where you got the black eye. Because when I spoke to you, I don't know if you were under the influence or withdrawal of. And I know that you're prescribed painkillers. I'm not going to go into this whole, oh, you're a drug addict, yada, yada. But,
Yeah.
we're not talking about that. What I'm talking about is you were talking about how you acquired this black eye. And you said that an entity or deity had possessed Vitaly to hit you. That's what you said in that conversation. And
Yeah.
I have an isolated part just before Vitaly was coming on to speak with me where I can jack up the audio and I can show it to you where the only thing is improved is just like clarity and volume. And I also include the non-edited part where he says something like, you punched me, yada yada. Because the question you asked before he came on was, Vitaly, did you punch me? And I couldn't hear him, and we were trying to get him on the mic. So, what I'm asking about that is, did you punch him? I mean, you say you didn't punch him, but why would he say that? He wasn't the kind of person to just come up with stuff like that. And
Totally. He was the type of person to come up with stuff like that.
Hold on. Let me just say, and when he finished, when you finished explaining how you got the black eye, he explained to me that you had a seizure on the couch and rolled off and hit the table, and that might be how you got the black eye. But to me personally, it seemed as though neither one of you were telling the absolute truth, and that there was something that happened. And then when I speak to Patrick Butterfield, and he explains to me that there was violence that had occurred, you say it didn't happen, but he does. I don't know what's true, and I don't know what's not true. But what I'm saying is all of this stuff adds together to explain, as well as Vitaly's desperation and secretness behind wanting to get away from you. Do you see where I would be very, very, confused by all of this?
Actually, Vitaly wanted to get out of Chicago. He didn't want to be... He wanted to...
he said he was with you as a last resort. Was he with you in Chicago specifically as a last resort?
No.
I know there's a lot of taking at once, I'm sorry.
Like, what's a mystery to me is why Vitaly would go back home to his parents who psychologically abused and tortured him. That's the big mystery to me, why he would go back home. Because he kept telling me that he was not, he was trying to escape his family, he was trying to escape them. And,
Can I ask, did you say that you did in videos? I just want to ask for the record. You did know Vitaly was suicidal before he left, or you did not know?
Vitaly never mentioned suicide to me at all. He never mentioned it to me at all.
You've mentioned in video before, though, that he told you that he was suicidal because of his parents or this and that. I mean, we've gone over videos in between then and now. I really don't want to pin you down on this stuff, but I want to just make sure we're getting the truth here. I want to know the truth. That's all I care about. I don't care about tearing you down. This whole shaman thing is just really a big joke to me. Like, you have your beliefs and I respect them. If you wanna do what you wanna do, that's fine. I'm just saying, don't give bad advice, and hopefully you can see where I'm coming from with that as well. But I just want to get this ironed out between me and you. That's why I want to come to an understanding. I know there's a lot about you I'll never understand, and you'll never understand me because we're drastically different people that operate on different spectrums of, the ego, if you will. But I want to know the truth. Because this shit isn't true, what I know so far. I want to know the absolute fucking truth, man. Am I gonna get that? Ever?
Well, I mean, the thing about the truth is that you know, there are different there are different there are different ways of looking at a situation, and uh, I'm very sad about what happened to Vitali. I'm very sad about that, and
So am I. I really will say that earnestly and honestly. I am very, very sad about what
yeah,
happened as well.
I mean, I was torn up about it, and I'm still torn up about it. But there are several things that don't add up about his death. They're just I've talked to the medical examiner. I've talked to the police.
What's not really adding up? Like specifically, what are they saying doesn't add up?
Um,
Because if there is something that doesn't make sense, I want to know about it too. Because I care. I really do care about what happened to him.
well, I mean, many people have emailed me and said he was murdered, and for what purpose? I'm still trying to figure it out. Um,
Well, I want to say this: he was on record as purchasing the gun himself. Do you think
right.
he was made to do this?
Well,
Or Daddy did it for his own safety, or what is your theory on that? Why did he buy the gun?
um,
He purchased it from Walmart.
okay, so I mean,
If he was murdered, I mean, did somebody make him do this, or did he buy it for self-defense? That's what I want to know. Like,
hold on. Okay, um, did he really buy the gun? Was it really him that bought the gun?
do you think Walmart's in on it then? Because that's what all the records show. If you believe that, then you believe everybody that's investigating this in Vancouver is possibly in on this, because that's the established facts as far as the officials go.
Right, right.
Is that what you believe?
Um,
That this goes higher than just a few idiots online or whatever have you?
well,
In that,
there's,
in that
you know,
the
there,
and that there's a conspiracy, or I mean, conspiracy is a loaded term, I know, but
right,
in the
right.
rawest sense
There's,
of the word, do you believe that?
there's, I know he had problems with his parents. I know he had problems, um, with them, and he did tell me that he would kill himself rather than be thrown into a mental hospital again. So there's that, and then there's also the fact that,
You said he never talked to you about suicide, though.
well, I mean, he never told me that he would actually do it, and what I feel happened. No, I'm just not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it because
I mean, I want to know your theory because I'm sharing mine. It's only fair. We're all sharing ours, so I mean, you were the one closest to him before his death. You owe people this.
actually I was not the one closest to him before his death. He went to Rochester to stay with family, and then he went to Vancouver. So, the last time I saw him, I put him on the train, and that was the last time I saw him. And he called me a few times, and but, 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 He
like, can I just say, I've spoken to his stepsister, and like she says, like her and the immediate family had no idea where he was. Nobody else in the family knew where he was the entire time from the point where he left you and did what he did around a few blocks from their house.
mhm.
So, I mean that I how do you know this? That's what I want to know.
Because he called me and also the person he was trying to go to in Canada, he couldn't get across the border, and she drove to the border of Canada to go pick him up, but they wouldn't let him through the border. So then he went to Rochester and stayed with family there. At least that's what he told me. But at that point, Vitaly had already established himself as someone who would not necessarily tell the truth about what was going on with him. So, I mean, who knows where he was? Who knows where he was?
I mean, that's the thing here is there's a lot of confusion. I mean, I didn't know who else to talk to besides you, other than the immediate family. Where was he? What was he doing? And what happened? And from what I understand, I mean, I've only spoken to the stepsister, and she's fully convinced that none of this would have happened to him had he not met you. And I can't speak for her, but I mean that is the opinion that she shares, and I believe that you've even spoken to her in comments on your own videos, and you know yourself what she feels about you. So
Yeah.
it's really not a secret, needless to
Yeah.
say. But I mean, the thing is like if they didn't know, and according to her, nobody in the immediate family knew, and extended family. I mean, this you're the first person to say any of this stuff that he stayed with family, and if Vitaly was saying that to you and it weren't true. Sorry, I'm trying to not belch loudly, but
It's okay.
what I'm trying to say is if he told you a lie about where he was, is there perhaps any chance that he felt afraid of letting you know where he was? And I'm not trying to like corner you into answering questions within a certain context of like, oh, Vitaly's afraid of you. I don't know the entire situation because I mean, to be honest, nobody can explain what he did and what's in his own mind. Even when I spoke to him personally, he's an enigma. I can definitely say that.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that the private investigator called me after the body had been found and asked me questions about where Vitaly was and what he was doing or whatever, and I said the last text message I received from Vitaly, he said, "I want to kill myself." And then I texted him back and I said, please, please, please don't do it. And that's pretty much the last conversation that I had with him. But then my friends started calling me and saying, once I made the Vitaly is missing video, several of my friends called me and said, "Hey, did you? I just want to let you know, Vitaly called me and asked me if he could come stay with me." And this is like about a dozen people, and they just thought it was weird, that he would call total strangers and ask them to come stay with them. So
you have no theory on why you just wanted to get away? You just think he hated Chicago that much?
Yeah, he was pretty clear he hated Chicago. But the plan was us to go to Canada together. And then I was like, I was like, well, I've signed another lease for a year. I can't go. I just can't go right now. So, but he wanted out of Chicago. He hated Chicago so much, and he just hated Chicago. So
you're fucking making me chain smoke, dude. I'm sorry.
But I mean,
I feel like there's a lot I'm not being told. Like, I know not everything was flowers and daisies between you guys, and it.
Oh, actually, it was.
It never is, man. You may have perceived it as such, but I don't think you can necessarily speak for him at this point. What he was going through. And it's. I hate to say it, but when he says things like it was a last resort to be in Chicago, staying with you in your own videos as well as when I spoke to him personally, and just little small subtle things, it's where I hate to say it, but he seemed utterly terrified by you in some stances. And I don't know if it was just, and I'm not trying to be rude, but I'm just go with me here. It could have been either creep factor where he just felt like, okay, like I'm in this relationship with this guy, and it's definitely not traditional by any stretch. I'm not saying that it was supposed to be either, but it was unusual, very unusual, and he felt as though he was just kind of going along to get along, and that's everything that I gathered from everything, is that when he was with you, he was not, it was a survival thing. Like, he didn't necessarily, I hate to say it, but I mean, I know that you feel on some level, and you say that you care about this guy, but he was really just trying to go along to get along, and didn't necessarily care about you as much as you want to say he did. And if he was lying to you, like you said so much, and all these other things, I'm just trying to give you a new idea here that he was very unhappy being not just in Chicago, but possibly with you. But instead of
I would be laying in bed
instead of hurting you.
I would be laying in bed, and he would come lay on top of me and kiss me, and
I'm not saying he didn't care for you. I'm saying
he made me food. He made me. There was no indication that
there's subtle things I could show you if you gave me time. I could really show you where it seems as though he's completely terrified of you. And the time when me and you did our very first interview, right? And you went to sleep, and me and him were having the conversation, and he was just, it seemed as though he was like completely terrified that you would wake up and possibly hear anything he was saying. And then the next day, after we have our Skype interview and we wrapped everything up, you had messaged me asking me not to post this stuff, that it wasn't relevant. Even though it very much was, we were still continuing the thread of conversation. You had just left, but, you know, you see what I mean? Like, he I don't know if he told you to tell me that, or if that was your idea or what, but it seemed as though he was terribly afraid of saying something that you wouldn't approve of him saying. And to be honest, that's where the whole hashtag Free Vitaly thing started, was we wanted people to hear everything. But between me and you and Vitaly at the time was very much as much of your videos as you were.
Well, Vitaly was never a prisoner here. He was never a prisoner.
I'm not saying he was. He did leave. So I mean, he chose to leave. He did leave. And I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is I can't really go over everything I just said, but you get what I'm getting at? Is like he's holy shit, man! I'm so wrapped up here. I'm trying to say this in a way that's gonna not piss you off. Like, I'm not trying to piss you off. I'm not.
Well, I don't get pissed off. So
well, you do kind of sometimes. You do. It's visible sometimes even.
Well, I don't. My version of pissed off is I don't like abusers. I don't like harassers. I don't like liars. I don't like.
Did you ever believe I was a dark witch, Patrick?
Did I believe you were a dark witch?
Yes.
No.
Who are you talking about? Whether you fucking dark witches, you'll never fuck with me. Because we were fitting this all into the context because of everything you were saying. It sounded like you were talking about us, but being vague about it.
No.
Me and Omniros and everybody that has a negative opinion about you. And if you remember in my videos, I did a little Dark Lord cut kind of in-jokey thing where...
I know, it was funny.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. But, I mean, that's what I felt like you were kind of like shadow playing me there, shadow boxing me a little bit, and...
Oh, no. There, I did suffer an attack from a coven of dark witches, and the reason for that was based on the Shamanism group on Facebook, where I had a vision of what America was going to look like in 20 years. So, without going into it much further, the Shamanism group on Facebook has been taken over by not so nice people.
Sorry.
And the leader of that group is kicking out shamans who come there seeking help and guidance.
What exactly did that lady, you say she's like the mod of the community, what exactly did she not like about you? Because you never specifically bring it up in the video I saw about it. But, I mean, I just really like how you said, I got banned from the Shamanism Facebook group. It's just how you said it. But I'm just, like, what specifically happened there? What did they not like about you?
Well, you can take a look at the rules of the Facebook group. You're not allowed to link to any videos. You're not allowed to link to any other shamanic resources. You're not allowed to really do anything. And so when I joined that group and I saw the rules, I was like, okay, this is not really a group about shamanism. This is about stamping out shamanism. So, when I made my first post in there...
Was that your very first post, just saying that, or...?
The rule, like, shamanism is about...
What specific rule did you break to get banned? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what?
It had to do with Sharia law. And it had to do with how if we do not pay attention to ban Sharia, then there will be executions, there will be bloodshed, there will be because I saw what would happen to America if we allowed Sharia law to be introduced into our society, and that's really all what the post was all about. And I said, my fellow shamans, can you help me with this vision? And then the moderator of the group said, this is hate speech. And I was like, no, it's not hate speech, it's a vision. Shamans have visions all the time.
Well, and I'll say this, fuck Sharia law. I agree with that.
Right. So then I got blocked. I got banned from the Facebook page. So I sent her an email asking why I got banned. And then I posted on the Shamanic View of Mental Illness. I said, hey guys, I just got banned from the Shamanism group. And for having a vision like shamans do. And so I said, I sent her a message asking why I got banned, but she never responded. So then she comments, you liar, you never sent me an email. And so then I took a screenshot of the email that I sent her, and then she said, that's a Photoshop, you liar, you liar, you liar. So, that was that. So, that's why. So the group, like, there's kind of a war on shamanism, a war on shamans, and uh, this goes back thousands of years.
It's like the vampires and the lichens, huh?
Yeah, I mean, um,
I'm sorry. That's
I know it's
I
like
like that
underworld.
movie. I
Yeah,
like that movie.
but I mean, you know, um, and the fact that she kept, trying to call me a liar and all this other kind of stuff, it was just mysterious to me why people would care so much what I think. It was just mysterious, and I'm not trying to get view counts. I'm not trying to get subscribers. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to let spirit flow through me, and you know, give spirit a voice. And sometimes it's uncomfortable to hear, and sometimes
It's
it's
very
pleasurable to
uncomfortable
hear, and
sometimes,
sometimes
I will
it's
say.
sometimes it doesn't make sense. And you know,
Can I ask you this? You're not providing services for money anymore as far as shamanism is concerned.
right?
Okay.
Because I want to help more people.
But I just want to continue. You're accepting donations though, right?
Well, I mean, some people insist on paying me money.
Yeah.
Some people do insist on that
Yeah.
because they
Yeah. Well,
realize
well, you let them
they
do it, right?
they resonate, and and even he who shall not be named accepts donations. So
Well,
I mean,
I just want to say my beef isn't that you make money off of it specifically. It's I just wanted to clarify though that you still in the description of your videos it says you're Patrick about me. Here's all my services. It costs this much. Call this phone number. And so
I mean, I'll get to that when I get to that. I mean, that's like, you know, the least of my worry. That's the least of my worries. That is like on the bottom part,
wow.
And
I'm
I've done
just saying
and
it
I've
takes
done
2 seconds to delete that.
Well, I mean, it's like I don't remember the password. I don't remember how, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to put on there. So I mean,
No, I
that's the
just mean
least of my worries.
your video description. You say you're not appealing for money for services, but that's still up. If I'm not saying stop, you can, but just don't give bad advice. But I mean that's the only time people are really going to have anything to say about it. There are other shamans that don't get this kind of stuff because they're not saying this kind of
Actually, there are other shamans that get this kind of stuff.
not as much as you, man.
No,
I haven't
actually,
seen it. If you,
I know,
show
I know
me.
of 3 other shamans that have kind of gone through something similar as to what I've gone through. So that's not entirely true.
Well, I
So
mean, I'm just saying. I look up people that are shamans on YouTube just to kind of compare and contrast and see what I'm missing. All right,
sorry, I got a call.
that's fine. I'm just saying, like I look at what's out there just to compare and contrast and see if like I'm misguided in my interpretation, and they don't exactly do quite what you do. You're not even the only gay shaman on YouTube. Like there's a few others, and they don't face nearly any of the criticism because they don't do the stuff you do. They don't say the things you do that could potentially be harmful advice to people, like not going to seek psychological help. I mean, the thing is like you should use the psychological help stuff as though it's a tool in your arsenal. I mean, physician heal thyself. You ever hear of that?
Yeah,
And so, I mean, like this stuff isn't your enemy. I mean, you're basically trying to use you can do the chanting, you can do the spirit stuff, whatever you want, but also use things that work. I have a mother-in-law that is schizophrenic, and she was very very bad off before she hit her dark bottom, And once she did get to God damn it. But once she did get to the situation where she was being treated and helped, it was as though she was a new person. Like, she's prescribed a Risperdal and she gets a shot every month. And it's nothing.
Risperdal is a terrible drug.
Well, it does have some negative side effects, but guess what?
It eats your brain. It eats your brain.
Man, but she's not sitting in her bedroom talking to herself, imagining her dead son is next to her. She's not imagining that she called up 5 people over for tea, and then when she snaps out of it, nobody's there. You know what I mean? Like, there's all this stuff, and now when she's doing this stuff, she has a few things like where it's slightly harder for her to pee properly. You know, it's stuff like that. But she's not calling up people on the phone imagining all of this stuff is happening and serving tea to people who aren't there. You know what I mean? And that's the darkest of dark right there. And I'm just trying to say that, like, the treatment she received is helpful. And for you to say that it's not as... That pisses me off, because you're stopping other people like her from becoming... functional. She's functional now. She can go out and do this and that. She does everything like a normal person would. She's given the circumstances, you know, she's a little bit off, but I mean, she's functional, and this stuff does help people. It's not all bad like you're saying. Even medication. I know the pharmaceutical industry, if people misuse drugs or things get passed that aren't tested properly. I'm not denying that these things are happening once in a while, but it's not all 100% bad either. And I'm not saying psychology doesn't claim to cure anybody. It never has, but it definitely does help. And that is evident. And that's evident through my own experience, and that's evident through other things as well. I mean, you can show evidence of where it's harmed people. I can show people the same thing, but I can also.
Why didn't you take her to a shaman? Because shamans can cure schizophrenia.
I mean, I could have did that too, but you know what? There's a lot of fucking people out there where you take people to these people and they just fill their head full of shit, and it's this holistic nonsense. Drink your own pee, it's gonna cure you, but you gotta feel that it cures you, kind of stuff. I'm not insulting you with that. It's not just you. It's a widespread thing where they feed you a lot of bullshit advice that doesn't necessarily help you, but it feels good to hear it sometimes. You know what I mean? And it makes you feel as though there's a placebo effect. I'm not denying that placebo helps too, and that's very much a very important tool of a shaman. Placebo effect. I'm sure you've heard of it because you're a fucking shaman. So, but I mean, they use placebos in medicinal practice too. So, I mean, like your official, the industry practice, placebos exist there as well, and they're not completely blind to necessarily everything you're talking about. It's just we want things that are proven to work right now. And I don't know, man. Like, we can go back and forth with this, but what I'm trying to say is basically you're discounting an entire industry, and that's very close-minded and dangerous to people. You said if somebody's suicidal that they shouldn't tell anyone because it will only get you locked up and they'll do this.
No, actually what I said is call a friend.
Well, you said that too, but you also said if you tell somebody about this stuff, that they'll get you locked up. It's in your video where you say how they use the psychological or whatever as a weapon, where they use hospitalization as a weapon. And that is true. There's some instances where people have been wrongfully put into these things, and it's not 100% perfect. But you're also saying that because they have this standard where they take all this stuff away from you and they do this and that it's all bad, and it's not, because that is very helpful to somebody who is suicidal sometimes. Because, I mean, if I really, really, really want to kill myself, I'll take my shorts off and fucking tie a noose and hang myself with them if I am really that desperate. And if nobody's paying attention to what I'm doing, nobody's checking on me, nobody's coming by saying, hey, are you okay? things like that. Every so often, and I'm under high visibility, and I don't have anything that I can hurt myself with until I come out of my phase to where I want to hurt myself. That's helpful. Okay, and you're telling people that that isn't. And it fucking is sometimes. Sure, wrongfully imprisonment does happen, and when it comes to your case, I mean, who's to say? But all I want to know is, how can you say don't do all this stuff? Can you agree with me that it would be a little bit wrong to say that about the entire thing? That anybody who's suffering from any kind of mental illness should never even consider going to a psychologist? When you yourself go to a transpersonal holistic psychologist, could you admit that that's a little bit wrong?
Me going to a psychologist?
No, not you going to a psychologist. I'm talking about the whole thing. Saying all this stuff about the psychological industry and about drugs and this and that, and you're prescribed some, and you take them, and they help you?
Actually, I'm off of them now.
Well,
I went to detox to get off of them. So
right, but when you were, okay, what? All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Like, that's a whole nother ball of wax. But what I'm talking about is like the drugs that you were prescribed psychologically for PTSD or whatever have you that you may be diagnosed with. Did you say that none of would you say that none of that experience helped you at all? None of those.
No,
drugs?
it actually made it worse. It made it lots worse. That's why I went to detox to get off of those medications, and then I had a seizure.
Same industry, though, it helped you, though, right? Get off of that.
No, I went to a detox facility.
Yeah, but that does all tie in a little together, a little bit, like the psychological industry and people that are on drugs. It does go hand in hand a lot of times.
But actually, they fucked it up, and I ended up having a seizure. So they didn't even really do that right, and so I ended up having a seizure, and I had to go to a real hospital. And while I was in the real hospital, they found out that I had 3 cracked vertebrae. So I had to stay in a hospital bed for like a week while they tried to figure out, what was, why I couldn't move or anything like that. So, the detox facility, I went into the detox facility thinking that, it was going to be an experience where, doctors would help me withdraw from these psychotropic drugs without any damaging effects to myself. But in fact, they actually did not do what they said they were going to do, and I ended up having a seizure. But now I'm off of them, and everything's fine. But they were causing all sorts of side effects. They were causing dry mouth. They were causing, I had no libido. I mean, they were causing all these problems in my life, and
that's kind of a good thing. I don't want you to have a libido. I'm just kidding.
No, I mean, throughout my life,
but there was never anything positive that came of any of it. In your opinion.
No, they all made me dizzy. They made me fall. They made me do all. I mean, I kept tripping over things. Because I'm not mentally ill, so the drugs that were prescribed to me under false pretenses were actually making it worse. Like, if you're not mentally ill and you're provided and you're prescribed psychotropic drugs, then it's a bad thing for you. So, and actually, Butterfield's mother had made all these false police reports against me, and she tried everything. She tried saying I was a drug dealer, that I was this, that I was that, and she kept doing all this stuff and harassing me. And
can you keep talking for a second? I'll be right back. I just gotta step over here, but I can hear you.
Okay. She kept trying, and that's kind of the same thing that he who should not be named is doing. So I've been through this before, and eventually it passes. So I'm not so concerned about it at all. I'm not so concerned about it at all because people are going to believe what they're going to believe, and people are going to think what they're going to think, and people do have brains in their heads, and if they want to take my advice, fine. If they don't want to take my advice, fine. I don't understand why certain people think that people are mindless zombies or anything like that. I mean,
Hold that thought.
Okay.
Okay, mindless zombies. Okay, well, I mean, one would argue that that's what you say people like me and he who shall not be named and everybody else are, that anybody who ever disagrees with you, that we are these mindless zombies and we're just full of negativity and hatred. But as you can see, Patrick, I'm sitting here and I'm trying my best to be respectful and carry this conversation with you and treat you like a human being, and you are doing so in kind, and I appreciate that. But I mean, you see what I mean? I mean, you do the same.
Do the same what?
By assuming that everybody is mindless zombies and that we all just kind of...
No, I don't assume that people are mindless zombies.
Well, no, I mean about the people that are saying anything negative about you, like they're just completely spiritless husks, and that they are just all full of negativity, and they're just coming after you and just want to tear you down because you're a beacon of light. And I mean, you can watch the last video I did about you and see my entire stance on that. I replied to your entire gaslighters and negative people video. And you can see where I'm coming from with a lot of this stuff. And I'm not as respectful as I'm being to you now, just giving you fair warning. But I heavily, vehemently disagree with a lot of this stuff. The suicide is a reset button. The talking to a 14-year-old boy. The stuff you're saying about Omnieros, I'm gonna go ahead and say his damn name, but and you're assuming all this stuff about people. You don't know what their spirituality even is. You don't know them. You just, all you're getting is what they're giving you, just like all we're getting is what you're giving us. You say we don't know your personal life because all we see are these videos of you, but you don't know their personal life either. All you see are these comments of theirs. So we're on equal footing there if you really want to think about it. And I know they don't actually make content, a lot of them don't post videos or whatever, but that doesn't make their opinion less valid. And what I'm saying is, it doesn't necessarily make yours less valid either, but what I'm getting at here is, like, there's a lot of stuff that's going on with you that what we do see feels bad, and on a lot of it. And it kind of worries me to wonder what we don't see. I'm sure that there's a lot of dark stuff that goes on with you on a day-to-day basis that nobody knows about. Just like everybody else. Hey, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's worrying.
Well, does any dark... Okay, hold on. Let me ask my question. Wiley, does any dark stuff go on with you? Does any dark stuff go on with you? Yeah.
Well, I mean, stuff even he wouldn't know about.
Yeah.
I would say that, fruitful darkness.
Fruitful darkness, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Fruitful darkness, okay.
It's our kind of chicken pushing our interests, journey.
And it's part of being a shaman.
Absolutely. The
Yeah.
brightest light is, the darkest shadows is cast by the brightest light.
The darkest shadows are cast by the brightest light.
Certain darkness is even to see the stars.
So, yeah, you have to be dark to see the stars.
Yeah, and this is a fruitful darkness. It's not an evil or nefarious. Now,
it's a fruitful darkness, not an evil or nefarious darkness.
Some of it seems kind of nefarious, even though it's not an intentional, though.
It's the lunar cycle.
And sometimes it might be intentional. Who's to tell? We're dealing with some weird stuff. I don't know if you can hear me, Pat, but my internet seems to be acting up and doing some stuff. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, sorry about that. I got disconnected when
That is no big deal at all.
But
I have to go get something to eat soon. But in closing, I just want to tell you, it's just a handful of people really that are upset with this. Majority of people are okay with what I'm doing, and it's just, I mean, you know, and they don't post on my YouTube channel because they know how vicious and I asked them. I asked people to not post on my YouTube channel. Because a few people did, and then they got harassed and bullied by this handful of people. So, you know, I'm not concerned at all. I mean, I still do client sessions. I still do things. I still do shaman work. Just another annoying little side note to my life. So I'm a being of light and love, and shamanic healing is not for pussies. And I love the fact that they're trying to discredit me and disprove me, because actually their hatred and their meanness is making people actually they're actually drawn to me because of this. So it's actually working out in my favor. So I say keep it on, because it's actually working in my favor, and in the favor of God, and in the favor of spirituality, and in favor of life and love. So smart people can see right through it. Smart people can see through manipulation, can see through things like that. And my audience is smart people. My audience is spiritual people. My audience are people who want to learn more about the mysteries of the human experience. And
well, I'm your audience member, and so are a lot of the negative people. So, are you being general again? I'm sorry, I got bust your balls on it, but
no, I don't consider those people my audience. I consider those like mosquitoes buzzing in my ears. And
they paid for tickets, I guess. They're showing up, buddy.
Well, they can show up
all
all
they
they want.
I really don't want to throw this out. Is that a birthmark you got over here, or is there some shit on your elbow over here?
Oh, this is
no, your other elbow. Hold your arm back up. You can see it. It's like right there.
Oh, right there.
Yeah.
This is glue left over from all the IVs and stuff that were in my body. I can't wash them off. It doesn't wash off.
Gotcha.
It's just gonna wear off, I guess. So
I just thought maybe you had some kind of chocolate there. I wanted to let you know.
No,
being a good shaman.
No, like when I got to the hospital, they hooked me up to all these machines. They put all these electrodes all over my body and hooked me up to all these machines. But the glue that they used, it just doesn't wash off. Like I've tried, and I guess it's just gonna have to wear off.
Oh, okay, that's what this is. Okay. I guess Pat has like a faded prison tattoo or something. I don't know what that.
I know. Prison tattoo.
But
you know, I knew what I was getting into when I started making. I thought it would be cool to document the Awakening of a Shaman via my YouTube channel, and this is just another shamanic trial, and I accept it willingly, and it's no big deal. Nothing is like one of the lessons that's hardest to get is that things are no big deal. Nothing is any big deal.
Well, can I present to you a shaman challenge? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. You said that you're a shaman. You arise to every challenge. I want to see any kind of evidence of the threats happening. I want to know who they are, and or you don't even have to necessarily disclose that much. But I would feel it's much more valid if you did. I want to see these threats. I want to know at what velocity they're coming at you to justify what you claimed about them. And I want to see what evidence you're basing it off of that he who shall not be named is responsible for, and not just that, but also this vandalism thing. I feel like we never quite resolved the conflict as far as that conversation that you had with 9/11 Tourette's, your comments disappearing and you don't know what happened to them, and you contradicted yourself in that. You don't have to answer all this stuff now, and I realize that there's plenty of time for you to do this, but I would really like to just know concretely that my assumptions about what's going on here are not true. And I know that we're both just sitting here and we're talking, but I want to see something substantial that proves that what you're claiming is actually going on. A lot of people's opinions would change, and they would probably jump on your side if they actually were true.
Well, I mean, I would really not. I would really rather, just drop it. I mean, there's no. I mean, well, everybody wants evidence of things, and
the thing is that this stuff won't stop with you unless you stop with it. Because I mean, you're claiming all this stuff, and it's all in response to what you're doing. It's not just people pulling this shit out of their ass about you. You're saying this stuff. And I mean, even with the 14-year-old boy thing, you said that this whole thing never happened, and we just discussed it earlier. And I just want you to at least be upfront, and if you did do wrong, admit you did wrong, and just seriously just give an apology if you feel that you did wrong. But I want you to step up to the challenge at least and show me what's going on with these death threats, this vandalism. Show me that this big plot to kill you is actually happening, because if it is, I want to help stop it, because nobody in my camp's doing this, and neither is he who shall not be named. As far as I fucking know, none of these people are out to fucking get you. We are all just responding to with the material we're presented with. And if you want to just respond to us and say that we're being ignorant about what you're doing, explain how. That's what would make all of this go away, in my opinion. If we could address this stuff and
I mean, to be honest, I don't care.
We need closure. We all need closure. No, I know you don't care, but you talk about it so much.
I don't care what you guys think. I mean, you guys are so inconsequential to what I'm doing that it's just annoying and tedious to me.
The last several weeks of videos been mostly about these subjects, and just, I mean, it's not all 100% about that, but I mean, like, you talk about these negative people, this cloud that's descended on your YouTube, and gaslighters and negative people, and all these people are just trying to tear me down, and it like I said earlier, it sounds very me. I'm not trying to just assault you with all this stuff, but I mean, I'm just being real, dude. Like, this is how people are gonna continue to look at this stuff until we see something.
And I'll say this again, because apparently you didn't get it. It is a handful of people.
Right, but they apparently bother you so much to where you dwell on this stuff a lot, and you feel.
I don't dwell on this stuff a lot.
Then why are the videos the way they are? If it's my shaman life, talk about shaman shit. Ignore us. Make all this stuff go away by just simply ignoring it from the jump. But you want to use it as some kind of like prop to I don't know, like when I say prop I mean like metaphorical, possibly even metaphysical. But what I'm getting at here is that it seems like some kind of prop that you're using to just kind of grandstand upon and say all this stuff like I'm a divine human being and this and that but we're showing quite a lot of stuff that you won't ever address, and that's why I want to talk to you, is because I feel like I'm the only dude that's going to actually sit here and talk to you and bring this stuff up to you, and I'm not going to just completely berate you, but I want to be serious about this stuff as well. Like I want to be concrete and get answers to this stuff. Like at least give us that much. Who are these people that are death threatening you? Name them. Let's charge them. But no, the private investigator.
Well, I mean, I told you I didn't want to talk about it.
But you talked about it already. That's the problem.
But
you brought it up in the first place.
Oh God. Okay.
I know that sucks, but that's what's happening.
Wiley, this dude wants me to reveal who sent the death threats to me, and that's a bad idea, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it is a terribly bad idea.
Why do you not call the police? Call the police.
Line that's been dissipated by
Wiley doesn't he call the police? You don't even gotta make a YouTube video. At least call the fucking police about them.
Oh, I mean, the police knows what's going on, and the police, the police knows what's going on, and that's, I would rather, the police know what's going on than somebody like you. You don't need to know what's going on.
Well, that's true, but you've made internet videos already talking about it. You talked to me at length about what he said and what he did. The only thing you won't give is details about who they are. And that all reeks to me, man.
I owe you nothing.
I know you don't. This
is a video blog called My Shaman Life and What I Go Through as a Shaman. And it's not about providing evidence, it's not about doing any of that. It's not about that at all. So a handful of people disagree with me. A handful of very vocal people disagree with me. And that's fine. I don't really care about that. What I do care about are the people.
It's not even so much disagree, but they prove you wrong on some things that you're actually trying to claim is true.
Okay, well, congratulations.
So is that admittance? Congratulations. Are you saying that some of this is indeed false for My Shaman Life? Is this? I mean, you that's what you're telling me. I'm only going off of what you give me, Pat. I'm sorry, man. I'm only going off what you give me.
I feel so sorry for you because
I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm just saying you just said all this shit and it sounds untrue, and you just said congratulations. You found out something I said isn't true. So I mean,
I didn't say that. What I said is congratulations. Congratulations.
In response to me saying that people have evidence that you lied about things. You just said congratulations in response to that. That's what I'm getting at.
So okay. So if that's the case, then why aren't we going after he who should not be named for making for telling lies about me?
What is he lying about? I want to know that too.
Oh, this is just disgusting, right, Wiley?
Dude, I'm not on anybody's side. I'm my own fucking guy here, but I'm on the side of whatever's the most true, according to Occam's razor here. And I mean, I'm trying to be going off of what I'm seeing that is concrete, and I've seen things that prove some things that you said are lies. We can go over this. We've already gone over this ad nauseum, but dude. Like, I don't know. We're at an impasse here, Mr. Shaman.
Well, I mean, one of the things that you have to understand is, and if you can't get this concept through your head, is that spirit flows through me. And what is right one day may be wrong the next day. So, and also we're...
okay, I'm sorry, dude.
I mean,
I love you, Pat. I hate you, but I fucking love you, man. That is the most ridiculous shit. What in what universe is something that is true and correct according to factual evidence real one day and the next day not?
do you understand spiritual paradoxes?
Yeah,
do you understand
we're not
spiritual
talking
contradictions?
about. We're not debating spiritual concepts
What
here.
what you're
We're
what you're
talking
doing?
about
What you're
morals and physics and things that happened and things that didn't. I'm not trying to talk about that at all. Like, spiritual stuff, I can talk about that. If you want to talk about that later, we can talk about that and only that. I'm talking about meat and fucking potatoes right now. We see things we've documented and observed things where you claim things that have happened that did not happen to be true. And you say congratulations to this, but where is that's like an admittance, but it's not. I just want you to just put aside, dare I say it, the fucking ego for a minute. Me and you, we're really not that much different. We are shamans of the same tree. Our branches just sprouted different directions, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not your worst enemy, dude. I would really, really, really like us to actually stop this whole evil versus good. We're good, you're bad, we're good. Stupid
There's no
shit.
such thing as good or evil.
Okay, well, you've even said, I can hear it so clear in my mind. They're just evil, okay?
Who's evil? Who's evil?
The people that say negative things about you, if you will. And,
I never said they were evil.
I don't even want to get into that, dude. I got... Your channel's there, dude. Just watch your own shit. I don't even know what to say, but it's... Me and you, we are going to forever be friends and strange bedfellows, but we're gonna fucking go through this, okay? We're going to go through this. And you're gonna become a stronger person, and so am I. We're all gonna become much better people as a result of all of this. And we're gonna learn from mistakes along the way. You are, as well as I, and you're gonna, before you go to sleep tonight, I want you to dream about me, okay? I want you to meditate on my words, and seriously, just try to astral project yourself into my shoes for the night as you dream. And I want you to think in the eyes of Ronaldo, and as I watch your YouTube videos. And I'm just, you know, put yourself in my shoes. I'm this guy. I don't know jack shit about you until I come across you. And everything I've come across, I mean, there's a lot of redeeming qualities about you. Well, why else would I be speaking to you if in being so persistent with you if I didn't think so? You know what I mean? Just meditate on that. And tonight I will visit you in your dreams, and you will enter my shoes, and we're gonna walk together. And we're going to find out that there's a lot more to both of us that neither of us probably understand. But we're going to address the other side of the fucking fence. Me and you, dude.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So, I need to go to the store. Do you want to go with me, Wally? No, you stay here. You stay here. I gotta get some more cigarettes. So
I just want you to think. I just want you to finish this like... We're not all just antagonists. Like you said, there's no good or evil. There's a gray area here where I feel like a lot of the people that are saying negative things about you are also saying some very good stuff to you as well. And I like to count myself among them. Because, not all criticism is negative. It's constructive as well. And it's up to you to turn it into such.
Actually, the only criticism I want to hear from is from other shamans, and the shamans that email me say I'm doing a really great job.
Well, I'm a practicing shaman now because of you.
I don't want criticism from people who don't know anything about shamanism or anything about. I mean, the only criticism I want is from other shamans, and so far, the shamans that have contacted me
You put me on hold. I don't know if you can.
Have said, you are blazing new trails. You are doing a great job. You are unique. You're doing awesome. You're doing great. Keep at it. So that's the only criticism I want to hear. Why would I want to hear criticism from people who don't know anything about shamanism?
Yeah,
that would be really silly.
Can I just say that the same shamans that we're talking about that have messaged me, they say that they've also spoken to you, but you just ignore it. And the ones that that have agreed with me, you just kind of just act like they're not there, like they're non-shamans, even though they very much do practice shamanism. If you want to go so far and be very vague about it, I practice a strange brand of my own shamanism.
Okay.
I mean, you see how I smoke.
I mean, the shamans that have contacted me have only given me support and encouragement. Now, if a shaman has contacted you and said that they contacted me, I mean, I don't.
In my opinion, though, they've given you encouragement as well. They've asked you to, when you went into that detox facility and you got cleared out of stuff, that's what people were asking you to do at the time when you were going through the throes of that. Mm-hmm. And it might have been in a tough love approach, but I mean, it is what it is. These people did give you good advice. You just chose to ignore the message behind all of this. You're supposed to be the shaman here and delve into the dark and the light, right? I mean, what I was saying is you're the shaman here and you're supposed to delve into the darkness, like Wiley was saying, and the light. And so try to view it from both perspectives. Don't just only listen to the completely positive things that say no matter what you do, you're doing great. I mean, we're an opposite end of the spectrum, and we're gonna make you a better shaman.
Oh, of course you are. But I gotta go. I'm wanting a cigarette. I gotta go buy some cigarettes. And people keep calling me. They keep calling me, and
I got you.
I got. We've already talked for an hour, but I love you, and I hope.
In some strange, weird way, dude. Like I said in the last conversation me and you had, we are very good friends on some strange level. Me and you.
Oh well, I mean,
we got so many things to work through, but we're gonna see each other through this, dude.
Yeah, this is another shamanic trial, and people have tried to do this to me before. I just
don't want you to be a victim of your own goddamn self. I mean, much less other people. That's one contention as well, but I don't want people to be a victim of you either, and I don't want you to be a victim of yourself. And I want to help you just, if anything, like I said, take what I said to heart, put yourself in my shoes and view yourself as I would. And just kind of think like, oh my God.
One of the things I want to tell you,
and I'm going to try to do the same.
If something doesn't resonate with you, simply ignore it. That's a really easy thing to do. If something doesn't resonate with you, ignore it. Because most of my videos are for specific people or about certain emails I receive. They're for certain people. They're not for everyone.
If you're ignoring the vibrations that you're not able to receive, though, then you're ignoring a huge portion of the universe, man. You are. There's things that don't resonate with you. There's so many things that you can learn from things that don't resonate with you. You gotta learn to be the instrument that can play any vibration. You're the shaman, man.
Oh, well, I know, but also, we live in a time that's becoming increasingly secular, and we live in a time where media and advertisements feed the ego. And also there's the pain body thing too, where people have to make things a non-pleasurable experience, where they have to make things horrible, where they have to make things bad, where they have to make things painful. So I mean, a lot of times, I just look at people and the things they write. I'm like, oh my God, this person is totally wrapped up in pain body. So I mean, and in closing, it's really just a handful of people. The majority of the people like what I do, and they understand what I do because they're on the same vibration as me, and they understand paradoxes, and they also understand contradictions, and they also understand that two things can be true at the same time. So, and the fact that like 12 people can't get it is really no concern of mine. So.
Well, okay, in closing, I really hate to throw this last one at you, but I mean, you just keep giving me this stuff. Okay, two things can be true at the same time, so the lies that you claim people are telling you about you can also be true.
Absolutely.
So, okay, alright.
Yeah.
That's all I want to ask in closing. And I mean, I pretty much said everything I want to say.
Read Dolores Cannon's The Convoluted Universe books. It'll explain everything. And do some research on Dolores Cannon because reality is, and you are the master of your own reality. So I've got to go to the store, but it was so much fun talking to you, and have a good night, and I will dream about you tonight. Okay?
All right, sir. We will talk again, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
right?
We're not enemies. Right. We're frenemies, baby.
Oh, I have no enemies. All I have is petty tyrants. So I love you so much, and have a wonderful, awesome day.
Well, it's been an honor being your tyrant, sir. Thank you for your time. You have a good day.
Bye.
Holy fucking shit. What in the fuck? What in the fuck has my life become? I'm talking to this fucking guy on the internet again.